Let's see if I did it right. I think I did. Let's just do this. Make sure we get the chatting. Dang, Carmen was in here fast. Hey, sweetie. All right, let me go ahead and get the link in the Discord. All right, we'll just wait a minute here while we make sure everybody's in. Let me also make sure I get everybody's tracks. I don't think I missed anyone.
I sent you the last one.
Okay, cool. All right. What's up? Oh, I'm about to fuck up my headphones. We out here. How's the volume? Volume okay, everybody? How was everybody's week? Hopefully it was good. Hopefully it was filled with fun and music. I won't lie, mine was filled with some video gaming. Don't tell anyone. It's between me and you. Us.
It's us.
Yep, just us.
And whoever watches the recording in the unforeseeable future.
Basically everyone. Everyone knows now. The secret's out. Fuck. I shouldn't have said it.
It's all right. I'm grinding up to Emerald in League of Legends, Riot Games, Teamfight Tactics.
Hell yeah.
I'm almost there. I'm more than halfway there, actually.
Hell yeah. You're not the only one gaming. Or I'm not the only one gaming. You know what I meant. Anyway.
I'm also been playing a lot of Ableton lately.
Oh yeah, that's a fun game. Lots of crazy stuff goes on in that game, man.
Yeah.
Nice. A lot of work and mental away the doll week. And celebrating birthdays for like 2 weeks. That is exciting. Well, it looks like the first track of the night is about to be just fucking crazy. That's basically what things are looking like here. So let me pull up these questions so that we know what kind of answers this raccoon is interested in. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and just get these in here. All right. Well, without further ado, let's just jump right into this. Are you ready, Dino? I know I am. Oh, he may not be ready. He's consulting.
Oh yeah, I'm working on a flyer for an upcoming event, and I want to make sure I get all the right information.
Okay.
So I'm multitasking tonight.
Okay, all right. Don't worry. I'm multitasking too. I'm paying attention to your multitasking and Feefing. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty nuts. All right, Hokie. Let's see what you cooked up this time.
I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. There we go.
It's not on my end, right? God, the Zoomers are gonna love that one, dude. That song is a whole song in 2 minutes. That's crazy. That's 3 minutes, I guess. I guess it's closer to 3, but that's nuts.
That's a whole 1 or 3 or 4 whole TikToks.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. The Zoomers are gonna go crazy. I don't know about the newest generations though. After that, they might not vibe it. Honestly, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a vibe though.
It is.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start us off here. Is there too much noise on the first harmonic basis, bro? I didn't pick up any noise at all. I wasn't hearing any kind of noise. Are the call flows in the second drop too chaotic to follow? No. Does the response bass in the second drop feel like it lacks the fidelity of the rest of the tune, or are we all good? I felt like the bass was actually kind of loud in the second drop, but it was definitely all there. Is it at the same quality level as the rest of the beat? I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like 2 separate tracks put together, but they were cohesive. Like, it feels like it could be 2 tracks on 1 EP, if that makes sense. I wasn't really feeling a cohesion in the 2, but at the same time, like, they're cohesive enough to be from the same, like, greater work, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's me.
Yeah, I agree with Dino. I didn't notice like any noise, which is probably good. I don't know. I thought that it sounded fucking amazing. Like, that whole first drop,
it was fantastic. Yeah,
that is like the best thing I think I've ever heard you make. It's like,
stop
so
it every
clean.
week. Stop it.
It's like so fucking clean though. It's like so just like right into the ear holes. You know what I mean? None of this like fucking. I don't know if you even. I don't even think he used reverb. Okay, he obviously uses it to call, right, and or do like fill type stuff. But I'm talking like on the actual. It's just like so clean. Maybe there is reverb. Maybe there's like a microscopic amount that's like undetectable. But no, that was fucking amazing. The second drop, I think that it's not too chaotic, but timbrally, yeah, I did not like the squishiness of this. Let me show you. That's that kind of stuff. That like.
That was the best part. That was the best part.
I do not like that at all. I think you're going from this to like. It's like.
Too much phaser or flanger or whatever's doing that. I think you're right.
Too much AU5, bro. Like, go back to being hokey, all right? Go back to being hokey, because the hokey. That is it right there. Like that, this whole first drop, I was like, this is magical. And then during this section, the calls are perfect. But yeah, dude, this question right here, he knows. I mean, I think he just wanted to make sure that he knew, but I think we all know that he knows.
I mean, I say it quite often. If you have to ask the question, then you probably already know the answer.
Yeah. So
and that goes to my tracks too. Like if I'm asking the question, it's because I already know the answer.
Yeah. So I feel like the second response bases throughout this drop, they just feel like, yeah, dude, you even nailed it with the way the fidelity. Yeah, dude, like he literally knows exactly what the problem is. He's just like, am I going crazy, you guys? No, you're not going crazy. Actually, maybe you are going crazy, but like, keep doing that. Keep going crazy. Because you're killing it.
I gotta ask you, Hokey. I'm gonna ask everyone who submits a track and is in the chat tonight. What headphones are you using? Or are you not even using headphones? I feel like you're a headphones guy.
Oh yeah, he's probably like, I fucking don't even listen to my music. I do. What are those beat battles where the Def Jams? He's like, I do Def Jams all the time, bro. I get 3 hours in and I have a 2-minute track and I don't even know what it sounds like till I turn my speakers on. No, yeah, that is a good question though. I feel like he might be a both kind of guy. I think. Oh yeah, he's an M50X gang member. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah, bro. M50X is
that might explain why there was a lot of bass in this. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I feel like even on the I mean, I guess I'm on the 990s now, but I feel like when I've listened to hokey stuff on the Sundaras previously, on the 990s, like the open back vibe, I feel like there's enough to know that it's there, which is usually good. Like it's not like I can really notice it, you know? What really comes through, which is amazing, is like that mid-high range. Like he just like that. That is just
your argument's blown out of the water, Magdo. He just admitted to being a visual mixer.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think you should maybe use Sound ID then, or I guess not. Just don't change anything because your tracks are fire.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Your shit's fire.
But yeah, all I can say is first drop, amazing. Second drop, I feel like I wanted more of this. You know, more of like
still good, but not as good as the first drop.
Yeah. I think you could just. I don't want to say scrap this because that's kind of a savage way to put it, but I think you can take it, Hokey. I think like. Fuck this.
If you were, you could swap the two as well.
It's just this sound. I don't like that like squishy, undefined vibe. Sound. It's just like even that too. Like those, like you know what I mean. It's just too mushy, too like not focused, whereas like in this whole drop, is
it that it's too wide?
No, I think it's just like the way. So first of all, he's using like faster flows, and I think that when you start using faster flows, you got to be like really, really making sure that volume goes to 0 each and every time it hits, or else it just feels like one legato note, you know? And I think that's the problem I have with it, is it just like these moments feel like... I guess it's better there, but it's really like... That's like, it's just like one note, even though it should feel like lots of notes, you know? So I think maybe you could get away with like some render to audio type, you know, fade out type shit, but I don't even think it's worth doing that. I would say delete this and just go back to this. Maybe slow it down a little bit, halftime it, you know, because you got this like really upbeat thing. I think you could like slow this arrangement down, like the arrangement of it down for a second drop, and then just keep the totally same timbres, which, you know, are fucking amazing. Just a thought. That's like what comes to mind personally. But yeah, Hoki's fucking cracked.
Yeah.
Halftime to halftime. Yeah, quarter time that shit, bro. On God.
Eighth time, dog.
Eighth time.
Fuck it.
No, yeah, dude, make them fall asleep. No, I'm just kidding. There's no way you could fall asleep to these sounds. There's just no way. That would be the true test. All right, yeah, thank you, Hoki.
He was working on something earlier that like felt like the slowest stuff he's ever made, even though it's probably still 85 or 80 in that region. I'm sure what the track you were working on like this afternoon after you got back from Out Jinx, what speed was that?
130 halftime, 130 something halftime.
Oh, so it was just really
slow as fuck. Yeah, dude, it was slow as fuck. Slower than dubstep, but like dubstep, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fucking awesome, Hoki. Thank you so much. You're a wonderful person. Keep making just the most insane shit we've ever heard, because I'm always just like shook. All right, next up we got some more bangers. Holy shit, this evening. All right, Mr. Wick, here we go. Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll kick us off this time. Does this feel like a John Wick backing track or sound similar to a cyberpunk style theme? I honestly didn't feel like, I guess it's closer to cyberpunk, but even then it doesn't really have like either of those vibes. Maybe the John Wick a little bit. I don't know. It felt like a race car driving kind of vibe. Like that's kind of what I was getting. Honestly, it fits the Fast and the Furious theme of these recent Feefs like perfectly. I don't know. It felt like like a League of Legends like character background song. Which is probably not a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's offensive or not. I think it was nice.
I was just waiting for Kaisa to start singing on it.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of like
Oh.
that's kind of where my head went with that. But yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad. Does everything leading to the drop sound complete? I think that your buildups are awesome here. I think even the theme isn't bad. Um, so yeah, I think the short answer is yes here. Um, do the drums feel too flat? Maybe try new ones. I think that the drums work where they are. I think you just need more tops, like more like
Symbols.
cymbal type shit. Yeah, exactly. Like I
Yeah.
think everything else is fine though. Um, I think the big thing in this song is like, yeah, definitely the cymbal. Like especially on the downbeats would go crazy.
That, that
Um,
hat sounds like it's a part of the bass sound.
I think also this is like just a way you could like go that extra little, squiggle in some dynamicness to the vibe here is opening up like a filter, over that synth more. Just like have it maybe start like more closed low pass and then just kind of open it up over time. You kind of do that, but even more. I think what you're doing is like you're kind of timbrely adding something, which is fine. But I think also if you cut away some of the higher frequencies and then added those back over time as well, kind of like a lot of people do in house, I think that would work great in the context of this song. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Dino, what do you have to say? That was definitely a thematical track, though, I will say. So yeah.
So I'm just gonna echo what Magdo just said. Sometimes you want to have a build and then a reset to rebuild. Um, that being said, the break kind of felt like it was didn't break hard enough, I guess you can say. Um, and those are just my general thoughts for the track. And as far as question one, I'm getting the feeling that Magdo maybe hasn't seen all of the John Wick films. Have you seen all the John Wick films?
I haven't seen any of them. Don't tell him.
Okay.
No, all my
Okay.
secrets are being revealed. Fuck.
This is very John Wick. This is John Wick fighting the Malaysian assassins in the glass room. This is John Wick at Berghain. This is uh um so yeah, I think you nailed that. And the mid tempo, honestly, I would speed it up a little if you're really trying to go for the John Wick. Because it just feels a little slow. And it's funny you mentioned cyberpunk. Are we just going like Keanu type beats? Is that what we're going for here? Anyway, does everything leading to the drop sound complete? Yeah, except in the break. The break could break harder. The break could break harder. Do the drums feel too flat? I think Magnet kind of addressed that pretty well. The cymbal in the second drop wasn't loud enough, didn't cut through enough. The hi-hats that he replayed in the first half just felt like a part of the bass line. Yeah, you really, especially with these four on the floor type stuff, to really get that groove going, because you're going more. The groove comes more from the drums than it does from the bass. Like the flow is in the drums rather than the bass. The bass is a supporting element. Um, yeah, you kind of want to dial in those drums, and it just feels like, yeah, Keanu type beat for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
you should definitely watch the John Wick films, Magnet. You'd like them.
I've thought about it. I just got to get around to watching movies. I don't watch enough.
Those three movies are like, they're not Hollywood cash grabs. They're really good movies.
Okay. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, the story's really easy. They fuck with his dog, and he spends about 7.5 hours killing thousands of people over a dog.
Okay, well, word. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it then. I will take your advice and watch those sometime soon. Um, but yeah, I mean, well, if nothing else, it definitely could be a League of Legends character release song, like soundtrack for sure, 100%, without a doubt in my
Yeah.
mind. Um,
Yeah.
which I think
But
is
Poyo doesn't
also
play
like
League of Legends
impressive.
anymore.
What Poyo
It's
has
crazy.
to play? Is it the
Not anymore.
Poyo? You're reformed. You don't play League of Legends either. Yeah, I played League of Legends. I stopped playing for like 5 or 6 months, 4 months, something like that. Honestly, I wasn't counting, but a
Yeah,
long
but
time.
you come back to it occasionally.
Well, no, so I
You're gonna
tried.
you're you're gonna
Just
come back to it when arena reopens.
hear me out.
Just
Hear me
saying.
out. I tried to play
Okay.
in ranked after not playing for like 4 to 6 months, and the first game that I get, somebody starts basically telling me to, go, you know, not what unalive myself. Yeah, there we go.
Do things do things to yourself that would cause you to be unable to do things in the future.
Yeah,
Put
and
it
I
that
was
way.
like, and then I look at the end of the game and I have like the most damage Delta champions. I'm like the only one who like didn't feed on my team. I'm like the only one who has like the most damage to objectives. And I'm just like,
Because
damn.
you did. It's because you didn't go and help him feed. Is what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I guess I should have played for him. I should have logged into his account. I think that was the only way to
Yeah.
make him happy. But anyway, thank you, Poyo. That was dope. I think that you should keep working on that. I think that it's like close, like really close to being like exactly what it wants to be, So, yeah, dude, especially the symbol. The symbol was like the biggest thing that you got to have that, bro. You got to have the like
Yeah.
high-end energy in the drums, and the symbol will be that for you, I think. So,
Oh, that was the game they were trying to get me to play. Predecessor. I don't know if you remember.
predecessors better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
I've been on the Guild Wars 2 MMORPG grind. That's been my recent addiction. as video games are. Anyway, thank you, Poyo. On to the next silly lad here. This is your track. What is this?
No, this is the baked potato.
Oh, this is the remix. This is the remix. I'm excited for the baked potato remix. Sorry, fam. You mean you're welcome. You're welcome, fam.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, Mr. Dino. I'm sorry, baked potato. Okay. Well,
Wait, did something other than bunting word up come up?
yeah,
Oh
projector.
shit, projector came up. Nice.
Yeah, no more tears, dub, bro.
No more
Uh,
free plays.
um, okay, so my thoughts on the bass timbres. I think the bass timbres were nice. I did like the first drops bass timbres more than the second one, but I don't
Because
know.
those were my bases. The second drops bases were the original bases from the track.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I like
I
this
don't I
one
don't
better.
I don't mean to throw shade at homeboy, but I
Well, I
might
think
be
a
a
lot
little
of
bit
it's
better
also
at making bases.
I think
Might
a
be a
lot
little
of
bit
it
better.
you're not wrong.
Sorry, go ahead.
But hear me out. I think that the reality is like most of us, at least when it comes to my own music, right? Like my own basses, I know how to use them best in my arrangements versus other people's kind of a thing. You know, it's like you're used to what you
Yeah.
know. And I think that in the context of this, it's felt like I really liked this first drop space timbres. It's had like the nice, like sort of Reese vibe to it. And I think that was my favorite part. But obviously there were other basses too, but the Reese bass was definitely my favorite. Um, so that is my first. That is my answer. I hope that's like a well enough answer. I don't know how else to address it. It's not like these bases were bad. It's just it felt less cool, which is not what you want usually. You know, you want that second drop to be like flexing harder. So maybe if you don't want to change it too much, you could have this drop go first and
Well,
then have
I'm thinking about just scrapping his bass line altogether.
yeah.
Because as it stands right now, the only thing that's not from his track is the bass, the piano arp, which is the same chords that he played in his track. He just didn't give the stem for the piano, and one one oh no, that's me resampling an element. So yeah, it's just the piano and the bass doesn't come from his track. Everything else is stems.
Well, okay, then yeah, I would say it's worth using your own, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. OG track repeats the bass line, kind of, sorta. Is it okay that I'm repeating the bass motif in drop 1 to 2?
I'm
Is
talking
this
about the mid basses here.
okay? So I mean, it didn't bother me. So
It didn't get samey at all.
no, I think that I think it kind of works with the song a little bit because it just basically forces you to focus more on like the ambient stuff happening as well. But it also feels like such a down tempo track that I don't know. It's almost like almost ambient, you know, like you're almost there, which means you can get away with, I think, more repetition. Because like in a lot of the ambient stuff that I've made, I've realized that hell, I'll even have like just one instrument with the same exact timbre going for like 10 minutes, you know, and it's totally
Ye
fine.
old drone.
Yeah, and it's totally fine. You know, it sounds
Yeah.
great. So, it's not even really a drone, just what it is, you know, like it's dynamic enough from the arrangement perspective that the timbre can be the same, but then the same is true for the opposite, right? Like as long as you're dynamic enough with the timbre, then the motif can be the same. So in this context, that's kind of what's happening, and I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was like a problem. Um, I would say, yeah, it is. I think it's cohesive enough, but yeah, this kind of goes back to the original thing that I was talking about in this point where like I do think you should use more of your own basses throughout the whole song, especially like finding a way to make this second section really pop more than the first one. That's like the goal. Maybe not pop is probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like expand
Okay.
upon, expand upon this section in this section, and I feel like this section feels too different than this one, and not in like a good way. It feels like less than, which is like the best way I can describe it. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. Um, I think it's because of the timbre though, not because of the arrangement. C, kind of low, too low? Question mark. I think that I didn't actually mind it because you have this Reesiness, right? So you have like these upper harmonics happening. So the question is like, how felt do you want the sub to be? In the context of this
It
song, the
it
sub.
entirely disappears on the studio monitors, and I'm gonna try it out on the main sub probably on Monday.
Okay.
And I'm getting the feeling it's gonna disappear there too.
So
And
my answer to that, if that is, because I've done a lot of like figuring out how to mix songs and figure out how to like master songs. Not as much arrange because I don't arrange with C, but there are tracks that I've like challenged myself to mix and master that are in C. And the way that you do it is you take a sine wave, a really nice, clean, beautiful sounding sine wave that's like a dedicated sub, and you layer it on top of what you have, and you do it in such a way where you essentially pitch it up a little bit, um not like a ton, but like we're talking like cents here, like not a lot. um
to introduce a beating, is that what we're going for?
Not quite. How do I describe this? You're essentially trying to layer it with the current sub to reinforce it into the harmonics of the sub that like you can feel. So like it's one of those things where you can do this in multiple ways. One way is to add pitch bend, right? Like having a pitch bend drop into the sine
Right.
wave. See, that helps a lot. But then also having like slightly higher like centage sine waves on top of that. You're not trying to add beating though. You really want to cut out the low end of your current bass to replace it with the new one. Um, but what ends up happening is you can create this feeling of the sub working. And this is something that I assume you have a sub to like monitor on, which is like critical for this. You can't really do this on headphones. You have to like listen and feel your sub. Um, yeah. So that's like the way to do it. Those two things I have found help me out a lot. Um, but I've only done that like 2 times, but both times it worked great. It's just one of those things where like you have to be very surgical with your sine waves at that low end. And yeah, the pitch bend, that's like, even that alone, you might not even have to do all of the extra pitching around of stuff. I just like that because you can pitch it up just a little bit to where, see, the thing is, the brain, I've noticed, even if the sub is slightly not C, the brain doesn't mind that because it's just feeling the sub, right, at the lowest possible frequency that it can feel it. So it ends up working out. As long as, of course, you don't have what you were describing, the beating feeling, which is why you're going to have to do some high passing and or, removal of sub frequencies in your current bass. But it works. It works great. Because the idea is like you're just trying to work the sub, right? So you're just trying to get it to work the sub. As long as you get that feeling, then it'll sound great, at least from my experience. But yeah, definitely pitch bends as well. Pitch bends are fucking awesome because you're essentially working every frequency in the sub, and everyone's gonna feel that no matter what.
Right, like a downward pitch bend.
Yeah, yeah, because like every
All right.
every time that's felt, no matter what, you're always gonna feel that like impactfulness in the sub. So
And then back to question two. Does this feel like it is coming from the original track?
um no. Well, this is the thing. I didn't really listen to all of the samples, but in my opinion, based on the ones that I did listen to and use, no. So I don't know if that's what you want to hear or not, but I did not really feel like this connected the dots to that. And I don't know if that's because you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of
Okay.
timbral changes to
I'm
stuff.
gonna have to I'm gonna have to submit it with the screenshot of the Ableton project just so homeboy knows.
No,
I
because
went
yeah,
I went full Doorhouse on you, dog. Sorry.
no, I mean that's chill. Yeah, I think it sounds good though. It's just yeah, like when I was listening to, because I started a little bit, as you know, I did a little bit of a remix of this as well, and I found that yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I literally try and use the samples as like in the rawest form that I can to kind of like make sure that you can still hear them, but I don't know how much you did to process it. But I assume you did a lot of processing, which is fine. Like, I don't know. The thing is, like, does that matter?
I did a non-zero amount of processing, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that matters or not. I think that the reality is like if you want it to really pay homage to the original thing, I would say keep the bass, especially the first drop kind of bass vibe going, and maybe try and reapproach some of the delay-y sound, the ambient sounds, and really just try and be more time-based with the effects and less timbral process with the effects, just kind of like work with the delays and reverbs more and less with things that are going to like change the timbre of the sound. But those are just my recommendations. It's still a really cool song though, and it definitely nails the ambient, dino vibe that we know and love. So, sorry, baked potato vibe that we know and love. But yeah, definitely fire.
Don't confuse the two.
I won't. Hey,
it's hard.
It's hard. All right, it's hard. You got to rename yourself to baked potato on the server, and then I won't have as much. Then I won't struggle as hard. I think that would be fun too. But anyway, no, that's dope.
Right,
thank you so much.
Let's move on. It's also my understanding that that's not the only remix of that track that we have tonight.
Oh wow, okay. Well, that's exciting.
So we're gonna see. Yeah.
All right. Well, next up we got Ye Old Prism. Let me make sure there are questions on questions on Discord. Let me
I think there is. Yeah.
Just want to get those up. I like to get the questions up because I can focus on what the questions are. These are some quality questions here. Let me
Also, Enki has asked us to end it after the first drop at 2:15, but
yes, I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna extra roast the last 45 seconds of those 3 minutes.
I see.
You're getting you paid for 3 minutes. You're getting all 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess we're gonna have to. Oh wait, description is that? Wait, what? Wait, what?
Just Discord.
Oh, I misunderstood. Okay, yeah. Let's embark upon the Prism journey.
Paid for 3 minutes. Y'all are just gonna have to come back next week for that second drop.
We're gonna honor his wishes.
Fine.
It seemed like it was a good place to kind of like,
All right.
um
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
you go.
gonna
Flex.
apologize ahead of time, Anki. Okay. I said it in the chat. I'm just gonna vocalize. I'm going to be very critical of this track, but that's only because I enjoyed it. All right, and I would like to see it finished. First things first, though, just ignoring the questions. All right, getting straight into immediate issues that I saw. The red in the left hand side of millimeters needs to be up and down all the time. Just there's if you were to mono this, I'm getting the feeling a lot of it would disappear, and you don't want your sub frequencies to disappear. You gonna try monoing it? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, just keep going though. I'll get
He's
set
gonna
up.
mono it. All right. Not dynamic enough. I feel you. What do you mean not dynamic? No, it's you just had a lot of stereo information in your low end. Everything below 100 should be mono or beginning to mono. Yeah, let's see. Let's see it.
All right, let's
Just hit the
test
mono
this
button.
out. Yep, let's see.
Just full mono. All right, unmono and then bass mono it.
It's not bad, but what ends up happening is you actually lose the sub a little bit, right? The sub doesn't feel like it's like give me a hug, It's kind of like winking at me or something. Whereas when it's like stereo, I can feel it hugging me a little bit, right? But then when it's mono, it's like over here going like, like
Air hugging you from the corner.
no, it's winking at me.
Right,
It's kind of uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Well, is it your uncle that specializes in bird law? I'm sorry.
But anyway, continue, Dino. Continue.
The second one sounds okay. The first one was horrible. Okay, for our non-producer friend in the chat here, the reason the second one sounded okay is because it was just the bass monoing. The reason the first one sounded horrible is because this is a really wide track, and when you put stuff back together, it tends to eliminate sounds. Because the way you get that huge amount of width is you slightly shift it, and then when you squish it back together, the stuff that's not perfectly in line with itself is gonna just disappear. It's gonna get phase canceled. Anyway, can you bring up the questions? I believe the first question involved distorting through the car. Oh, no. When it drops, it feels super open. Something needs to be there. I don't know whether it should be melodic or rhythmic. You could go either way. I think the arrangement was there, though. I don't know what I would add or remove from the arrangement. My main gripes.
Dry ad lib pad like vocals would be nice.
Yeah, or well, he's already got that female vox that's like reverbed out
but
like
dry.
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like having a dry layer of that vibe on top would be.
You could always go for the old classic, like a steam pipe flute, like a sine flute or something, like a real Roland 80s synth kind of sound thing. But yeah, I don't know what I would change with the arrangement here. I like the mix in his relationship when I max out my volume, mainly in my car speakers. Without any vocals to complete, sounded
lead up to it more, reverse reverb.
Yeah, lead into it. Introduce
it. All that kind of shit.
You have that whole intro. Introduce it.
Yeah, I mean instrumental stuff. Like, something that is like, I'm sorry,
a xylophone, a marimba, a kalimba, a little finger piano. I don't know.
Anything that is lead like would be great. Yeah. There. Sorry.
Just any kind of lead. Reference the episode from South Park about Peruvian pan flute music. That might help you a lot. Sorry, I had to. But pan flutes could go hard here too. Um, I like the mix in its relationship when I max out my volume, mainly in my car speakers, but I feel like it's sort of weak when you don't distort your speakers. Um, I'm not distorting. Are you distorting, Magnet?
No, but I think it's
Did it
because you
feel?
didn't turn it up. Um,
I don't. I keep everything always at the same volume. If it's too loud, it's too loud. If it's too quiet, it's too quiet. But
well,
for the
that's what I
most
mean.
part,
Like, in
I'm always at
my
9 o'clock
in
on my
my
knob.
opinion, this could be a little louder. Just a little bit louder.
He could saturate all that side information too. That would make it a little bit louder,
Well, I think like
and that
clipping to
would give the
zero, man.
effect of
Clip to
that
zero,
could do
dude.
it too.
That's
But
just the
that would
fucking
also
way.
remove some of the dynamics of the track, and the dynamic differences here is like what's really kind
Well,
of
you can be tasteful with it.
giving
You
it
know, you
that.
don't have to like fucking
Yeah, that's
slam it.
true.
But he's hitting like
Yeah.
-7, probably -6. I think you could get the extra luff out of it, and then you'll be set. The other big thing is like if you
For
feel like it's distorting, or if you want it to distort, do so intentionally. You know, as
yeah,
long as you
just
know
distort
it's
it.
if it's not over zero, and you're doing some saturation with like a clipper or whatever, then that's fine. Like just
The less I have to do as the end user, as the end consumer of the product to enjoy it, the better.
sorry, I
Right?
keep interrupting you, bro. I'm sorry. Keep
No,
flexing.
you're fine. You're fine. I interrupt you all the time. We scratch each other's backs. Um,
Word.
how is the mix in general? Too full? Is the snare clap too harsh? So I have a problem with that snare clap. Actually, there is something I would do to the arrangement. You have kicks in places where kicks don't belong, and no kicks in places where kicks want to be. If that makes sense. When you introduce like a huge jump in bass tone, either upwards or downwards, it's mostly the upwards jumps. I would introduce that with a kick, something side chaining. Speaking of side chaining, I don't think your claps and your snares are side chained. Um, and I feel like that would really help. It would help a lot because the kick is like really well done, like really tasteful. But I want that. That snap, that clap, that snare. I want it to like really cut through and just like be the only thing. Um, like it could. I don't know how to describe it, but it gives it like a more like up down entrancing feeling when you have like, and I'm talking like like you have your kick and your snare, and then you have your everything else, and they're side chaining everything else. Like I mean, like everything else. Maybe the vocals can exist outside of that, or the lead. They aren't. I just need to do it. Softer on the snare because it felt too much. Use two different side chains with two different side chain timings. Use a tight one for the snare and a big one for the kick. Problem solved. I am using some of the harshest headphones in existence. Magdude's also using some of the harshest headphones in existence. And with this, I'm going to ask him a question and then turn it over. Did the clap and snare feel too harsh to you, Magdude? Because it didn't to me.
It didn't feel too harsh, just too loud, I would say. Volume is more so the issue.
Yeah. And if you make room for it in the mix, you can turn it down. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much went over a lot. I feel like I kind of jumped in here and there. I mean, so when it comes to the drop being super open, we already talked about that. Yeah, just add a lead. Some kind of a lead is always nice to kind of fill in that atmospheric energy. But, at the end of the day, if you want it to stay more atmospheric feeling, then you can always just not do that. I do think, though, that my brain prefers a little bit of that, something to grab onto type beat. So yeah, that's just preferential though. I like the mix in its relationship when I max out my volume, mainly in my car speakers, but I feel like it's sort of weak when you don't distort your speakers. So here's the thing. I think that the idea, and this is just the concept, if you control all of the audio coming out of your DAW in a way where the dynamics are what you want them to be, so limiting, clipping, any of that kind of stuff, what ends up happening is your music sounds the same everywhere. which I think is the goal. You know, like you want it to sound similar across as many mediums as possible. So when it comes to the need, at least your feel of need to turn up your car speakers or turn up your speakers, I think that the issue here is that it's too dynamic. Like now, like I said, you don't want to smash this song, right? But you can definitely get away with some controlling of some dynamics in a very transparent way, and it will sound louder on those speakers, meaning you won't have to turn it up all the way to experience the pleasantries that is your song. So, yeah, my recommendation to you is to try and get into the ideology known as clip to zero. Maybe experiment with using limiters or clippers on your master or even your buses if you feel like you want to go that deep. And yeah, I think that you will benefit from it. Most songs that have any level of fullness, I have found benefit from it. And like I just said earlier, doesn't mean you have to slam it into those things, but some controlling of dynamics is normally a good thing. Even in like pop music, right? Even in music that's not very like loud or heavy, you want to do that, because if you don't do that, what ends up happening is, first of all, you could go over 0 out of your DAW, which means immediately pretty much every streaming platform is going to destroy the way your song sounds. But then on top of that, you also lose the ability to control what it sounds like for other people, which I think is not good, because you want to basically kind of, like Dino was saying earlier, you want the listener to have to do as little work as possible to experience your song in the way that it is meant to be experienced. So yeah, when it comes to the having to max out your volume in order to enjoy it, that means that the listener is going to have to consciously do that in order to enjoy your song. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I think that you should definitely start doing some research on, at the very least, compression, just the general ideologies around compression and what compressors do and what limiters do, and even maybe what clippers do. But yeah, I think that just doing a little bit more dynamic control will help you find your way. And that's something that you can do, you know, on YouTube or even with me, right? Like I do one-on-one stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where that I think is the biggest thing that is going to help you achieve your goals, at least with regards to loudness, and how it feels coming out of speakers. Your last question, how is the mix in general? Too full? Is the snare clap too harsh? Yeah, I think the mix is great. I think that the snare was a little too loud. It's not that it's too harsh. It's just like a little bit too loud. I think if you just took like 2 dB off that, you'd be fine, honestly. Like it's just like too loud in comparison to the other drums. Let's see. I use all of them. I just don't know how to get that sound that I'm hearing out of my car speakers from saturation. Oh, that's pretty easy. Tube saturation on the master, or specifically mid-side tube saturation on the master, or even better, mid-side tube saturation and EQing on the master into a clipper with a limiter as well. And you'll essentially create that feeling easily. But it's one of those things where, like, I say it's easy, but the problem is like you have to get the settings just right, you know? Like that's really what it comes down to. But I think that's one of those things where if you experiment with that, you'll get the hang of it quite quickly. But yeah, tube saturation on the master, a lot of people do that. You know, one of the biggest things
sorry, I hate to interject.
You're good. Flex. Yeah.
Something I knew about, and then Scrooge kind of like encouraged me to do. 5% tube saturation, 5% soft clip, 5% some sort of saturation on just the upper side information, or like the mid to upper side information on the master.
Yeah.
OTT.
Yeah, OTT on
what?
7 OTTs on the master and a sound goodizer.
Seven,
and export your track, import it into FL, and put a sound goodizer on it.
And then put it all through Maximus. No, OTT 3 to 5% saturation, 3 to 10% just on the side information. And with that, I will allow you to continue, Mr. Magda. Yeah. I'm sorry for
no, you're chilling, bro. Yeah, I think I got all the things that I wanted to say out. The reality is, like, Dino, that like saturation is nice. I feel like you're a little bit lighter handed on it than me, but one thing is for certain, the thing that you want, if you want it to sound distorted, It is as easy as you think. Just add some distortion, my good sir. And yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like one of those things where the tasteful aspect of that is like where you start to develop your own way of mastering and creating like different feelings um, for for songs, or at least styles of mixing and mastering. But anyway, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
your last question,
let
the
me
mix was great. I just want to make sure he knows the mix was fire. Just turn
yeah,
down that
yeah, the
clap a
mix was
little bit and you're
the
chilling.
volume and everything, fantastic. Let me reopen the no one's gonna distort just your track. When you're distorting in your car, unless it's an older car, it's most likely digitally clipping to protect the speakers, because I doubt you're actually distorting through your speakers. You're not doing like a hardware distortion. That would be wild. Um, depending on how old it is. Yes, Panda Cookies 2138. It is unfortunately too late to submit a track. Um,
Yes. I'm sorry. But next
we,
week, same time, every time, 9 o'clock
we
EST is
appreciate
when we
the interest
start.
though.
8:30 EST is when submissions open. So
1.5 hours ago.
yes.
But yeah, no one's gonna, and no sane person. If a track is like, if I have to turn a track that far up, and I'll say this from a DJ's perspective, even though this is not DJ music, this is like, and you know what? Maybe you can even keep all that side information in the low end, because this is ultimately headphone and car music, right? Am I right about that? Is that your intended audience here? Are we thinking like um are we thinking like, yeah. So like back when I had expensive headphones, like this is the kind of stuff that I would just kick back on the couch, maybe outside with a little bit of the devil's lettuce, and just enjoy. And if that's what you're going for, then yeah, you can do that. But no one, and I repeat, no one is gonna intentionally distort their fucking precious drivers for for just one track, if that makes sense. But yeah, and to leave it on a good note, like Magdio said, the mixing is fantastic. It's just some of the stuff is a little bit too loud. You already know what it is. You can bring it down by just making room for it. Would you say that that was a full track, Magnet?
What do you mean by that? Oh yeah, it was full. Yeah, I know exactly
It
what you
was
mean.
full.
It was full. It was this full. Hang on, hang on, hang on. I think we know what we need here. Just give me one moment. Oh wait, why is it not letting me open? Here we go. This full. It's full. All right. It's full. All right. Yeah, thank you for that. That was a wonderful song. Definitely is a great song to, step away from the
Vibe to.
harshness of a reality and just relax,
Yeah.
smell some roses, you know, look at some trees, admire the sky, appreciate the fact that we're here, that kind of stuff. So you achieved it. You achieved that vibe.
Contemplate your existence and the cosmos relation.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling one with the universe type beat. All right. Next up, we got Happy Song. Okay. So it's happy. Don't be mad. If you're mad, I'm gonna stop the music. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, let's embark upon this journey. Damn, he really did tease us like that, bro.
and this is the second time I'm hearing this today. And the first time he showed it to me, I was like, "Bro, come back to me when you have an actual track."
Uh-oh. Well, I guess that
You
means
know?
you should talk first. Let him know. Let him know how you feel, Dino.
Uh, is the mini impacts in the build up too muddy? I'm debating whether or not I should try and fix them or remove them entirely. Yeah, there was mud in the build up. I wasn't really paying attention because if you ask me, the whole fucking first minute is just one whole fucking build up. Um, yeah. So I wouldn't be able to pinpoint what it is without being able like re-listening to it like 5 or 6 times.
It's like a
So it's
YouTube
a
intro.
YouTube intro,
Well, that
bro.
is that is that is pretty accurate,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Don't cook him that hard, dude. He's a young man. Tis more than a child, but less than a man.
We have to
Anyway,
imagine. We have to imagine the drop.
yeah.
Just
Oh, I was like, I really like the octave jumps in the beginning. Those are really nice. The anyway. Would this be enough as an intro and build up on its own? Obviously, once mixing is done, I'm thinking that simple would be best here. I think that maybe you should arrange a whole track before you start considering mixing it. Um, always like there are things you can do to keep into consideration when you're making a track, like as far as like what your levels and stuff are going to be. Like so, like I would, I was always of the belief, and probably because I was taught this by um, a music professional at the time, that like mixing starts with each element that you put in. But up until you get to that break build, like that whole first section is pretty good. I wouldn't complain about that. Um, can you give me from like 40 seconds onwards?
yeah.
I don't think it's the ARP that has too much low end. I think it's the low end that has too much low end, especially for a build up.
This guy. He knows how he
Yeah.
knows things. He knows things.
Yeah, in fact, I'd say that sine ARP that's hitting at like 500 plus is just fine. Um, but yeah, that's come back to me when you have a full track. I very much enjoyed it earlier when you played it, um, and I'm enjoying it now. You can going back and listening to it again. The impacts in the build you could clean them up a little, um, but I feel like that's probably not the source of the mud. Or at least that's not the source of the low end information. But yeah.
All right.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Maggot.
So, yes, to the first question, absolutely. There's definitely mud in there. One thing I would recommend trying. Let's see, you're an FL gang member, so let me see here. Let's just do this real quick. I'll be fast here. So what you want, okay, is to do this. All right, you got your EQ here. Can you see this? Yes, you can. Okay, good. What you want to do is this to like 90% of the stuff in your song. Maybe not 90%, 70%, 60%.
After the 40-second mark though, when that build up happens, at least.
Well, like here's the thing, like even in this section, hang on, let's go back here. Even in this section here, the Reese is like just mud galore. And I guess with the Reese,
it's a huge Reese, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like it's one of those things where because it's so muddy, I think you could even try something like this on the Reese. Here, let me reset this. You could do something like this, you know? You don't have to be crazy.
Are you gonna Reese set it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna reset it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna also
They don't call me large father for no reason. I got all the dad jokes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, this shape right here is what you want for that sound. The unfortunate thing, maybe not that aggressively, but the idea here is like because that is like the main element in your section here, everything else just feels like imagine like the Reese is like a monolith and everything else is just like looking up at it like, whoa, like every other instrument in your track is getting it's like getting sacked in football, you know, like everything else in your track is like the quarterback and it's just getting fucking sacked, you know, by that Reese. That's like the best analogy I think I could use to come up with that. So the other thing I would recommend you do is try and like boost some of the mids, maybe even like cut out lows, of course, but and then go back and maybe turn up those other sounds, because once you have less of the low mid mud, you'll be able to bring up the volume of those instruments, whether it's with, you know, just a simple volume turn up thing or something like multi-band compression, OTT, classic stuff, you know, sound goodizer, fuck, I mean, that sounds good too. Any of that kind of stuff, right? Just to kind of bring out more high mids, especially mids. And I think that would make everything kind of balance out better. But the reality is, like, intros, like whenever someone asks me about an intro, and this might be, let's see, what did you ask? This might not be related to any of the questions, but you have way too much information going on here. This is like a full song as far as like frequencies are going. You want to like tease stuff, you know, you want to like give people little hints of high frequencies, little hints of low frequencies. As soon as you give them everything, like this buildup right here, I'm thinking like that's a full frequency spectrum, right? And you can have almost that. Yeah.
Would you say that's grizzly full?
Yeah. Hang on. We need to get this back up here. It's this.
You gotta do the other one though.
Where is the other one? Did you send it? Send me the other one.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it. This is how full it is, bro. This is too full. All right. He's like way too full for like you want this in the drop, you know, you want this in the drop. But as far as like the build up, not the vibe. But here's the thing, arrangement wise. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull up the other picture here.
This is how your buildup is right now. When your drop needs to be.
Yeah. Is this? Can you see this? Yeah, you can see that. All right. Yeah. So this is the thing, though. All right. I don't want to discourage you because this is all mixing related. Okay. And like Dino was saying, Dino is spitting some serious facts. I would not worry about mixing right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm going to tell you, just don't worry about that. That is not what I would be focused on at this stage of the game. I would be focused on, can I get a full song made, you know, especially arrangement wise, and especially at this stage of the game when it comes to your production career. I would really focus on making sure you can get songs that are complete and cohesive from an arrangement standpoint. Now, of course, you know, what you can do along the way mix wise always helps, but you know, I know for a fact I've been listening to songs that have terrible mix downs, but the arrangement's so good that I just don't care. Honestly, like it's just, that happens often. Not as often now that I'm a little bit more picky, but especially for the first like 12 years of my production career, which means the more I got to understanding how to produce, that's the only reason why I stopped enjoying that music as much. But as like a, you know, listener or whatever to the music, I mean, that didn't really bother me at all. It's the arrangement that really got me excited about the song. So I would say focus more on that, to be honest. I like the idea that you're focused on the mix down. Like, it's super healthy to kind of have that in the front of your mind, and I appreciate that. But I think you should definitely focus on the arrangement more at this stage of the game. This is a really good arrangement. As an intro, I think the arrangement is awesome. Like, this gets me excited for your song. So, yeah, I think that, you know, I'm being as brutal as I am on the mix because it's kind of what you wanted to know. But maybe it's not what you should be focusing on right now. But those are just, you know, big picture sort of thoughts that I think you should know I think about. Just because I care about your music and I care about, you know, you making bangers. So your last two questions here. Would this be enough as an intro and build up on its own? Obviously, once mixing is done, I'm thinking that simple would be best here. Absolutely. This is a phenomenal build up intro vibe. I think you could get away with, well, that's still mixing related stuff. Yeah. Tease more, you know, don't be giving people too much at once at the beginning, because you got to leave room for the drop. But absolutely, this is a phenomenal intro just as it is. Has the ARP and the build up got too much low mid? No, it does not. I would say it could actually be a little bit bigger maybe just louder. Like you could probably just turn it up a little bit, because it feels like it's kind of lost, or at least not as full as everything else around it. Like the pad stab sounds louder than the ARP, which is not good, because the ARP is like the main lead sort of thing. But yeah, Dino's fucking, he's flexing. Anyway, Tristan, dude, yeah, you're flexing, dude. This is really cool. I think you should definitely focus on arrangements at this point, though, because your arrangements are really good and creative and interesting. So I think you should.
Yes, well, while you still have those creative juices flowing before you get old and stale and tired of producing music and burn yourself out listening to the same thing over and over and over again.
Dude, Dino is so hip. This guy knows stuff. He is.
Get some arrangements done, and then you can come back to him later once you've squeezed every ounce of enjoyment out of producing. And then you can come back and make some time. No, I'm you know,
that's some facts.
It's not very often that we get talented and capable individuals who are new to the thing. You know?
Yeah, no, you're
spitting facts. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Tristan. That was dope. Oh God. Now I'm next. All right, well, here we go, lads. How
many more do we have after this? 3?
3, yeah. 3 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My arrangement is nowhere near as cool, but here we go.
This little plastic thing with little dooley wombos. Yeah, just don't do that. Not okay. We're kind of ready for you to leave. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. This little plastic thing with little dooley wombos. If you want to talk more, try that, she'll love it. If you really want to catch her attention. If you want to talk more, come by. You walked off and left her, and now you're talking with another girl.
I'm just gonna get the I have phrasing issues with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like your phrasing, all the bits are correct. All the phrases are correct. I just feel like maybe they could be placed differently. That is my outside of the questions feedback.
Okay.
Did I fix the loudness? I am no longer going to address questions regarding mastering or loudness, thanks to what we know about what we knew about SoundCloud before, but NASCO has made extremely clear now
Yeah. No,
with
that's a
his
fair point.
scientific research. If I'll find though, going through SoundCloud compression and then Discord compression again, it was good. It was loud. It was
it harsh?
the right.
Like the harshness, was it harsh? Yes or no? That's the
It was,
most,
it was the right. It was the right kind of hard. Hold on.
because that's like the big thing that I want to address. That's like the most stressful thing for me at this point.
Let me pull out the hater heater 5000s. Sorry, 9000s.
Yeah, because I feel like the last week, was it last week that I posted this, or the week before? Recently.
What was that?
Oh, recently I posted this, and I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but the biggest felt thing was that it was too harsh, which I agreed with. I was trying to push it to like minus 1.2 lufs, which is silly. So this time I cut it back to like -3, -4, and I tried to, I guess, make it still feel good.
Yo, this is not the adapter for this for this pair of headphones. All right, give me just around 240-ish.
We want to catch your attention.
The tambourine is harsh. Hold on. You guys laugh, but there's a reason we own 17 pairs of headphones.
Oh my god, this is crazy. He's breaking out all of the headphones for this one moment.
All right. Oh my god, it's so fucking loud. Okay. And then it's from the same place.
If you really want to catch your attention.
Your percussion, yeah, it's the tambourine that feels a little hard.
Okay, maybe I will do I don't know if I soothed this. I don't think I did.
Let me put my favorite ones back on. Can't hear you for just a second.
You're good. Yeah. Fun little trick. The trick that I forgot, of course. Soothe on the overheads or like your hi-hats and stuff is a really easy and fun way to just immediately make them less harsh, which I don't think I did.
Okay, and we're gonna do this one last time.
Okay.
In the same place.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you really want to catch your attention.
God, those flows are nuts.
It's fine on the monitors. But as I went from better to progressively lesser headphones like the tambourine got, and anyone who's going to be using really V-shaped sound, which is everyone who's got their car's bass and treble cranked up, like that's. But at the same time, when I do that, I crack my window in my car a little. And I know you do a lot of car listening too.
Yeah.
And if you don't crack your window, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, I kind of briefly mentioned this while you had your headphones unplugged, so that's probably not the best idea, but I was explaining to the wonderful chat people here that I did not soothe the overheads on this, and that's something that I've been doing a lot recently, but I forgot to. So I was explaining a nice little easy way to make them feel less harsh without doing a whole lot is doing that, but of course I didn't because, well, even the greatest people make huge, massive, and unavoidable mistakes. I'm really not that good, by the way, but I feel like I'm
listening back on SoundCloud directly without the Discord double compression.
Yeah.
and it is a little bit. It's just the whole top end is a little bit spicy, and these are not the high end heater 9000s. But it's also like a very tasteful amount of spicy.
I see what you're saying. No, I think I should soothe them. I already have made up my mind. I think that you brought attention to something that I forgot about. So, yeah, there we go.
Hey, that might explain that.
Yeah.
Do the bases feel too focused in the first drop section, or are they now feeling just right? So here's where I think that change in phrasing could come in. I'm going to break your outro up into outro A and outro B. Like you have a first outro section, then you have a second outro section.
Yeah.
And I feel like that first outro section would make a better intro section, if that makes sense. It's like it's a little less energy, but it's not low enough energy to be like the full outro, which is where you have outro B. But you could go from that full energy vibe from the second drop into that second outro and still maintain that. So and all you have to do is grab 16 bars and just shift it around and try and see how it sounds. That's the beauty of not having to work with fucking tape reels anymore, right?
Yeah, true. True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then question 3, anything else I should fix, or is it vibey? It's very vibey. I'm also a fan of the last part of the first drop into the breakdown kind of being empty. Is it okay, or should I fill up that space?
I feel like you kind of already addressed it, basically.
I'm actually going to double address it. That breakdown where you have that really nice, like almost low pass where it's to start.
Yeah, it's at like, what is this?
114-ish.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a little more empty, and you could slowly ramp back into that.
Okay.
Like you could cut out more bass. You could filter the drum and percussion line a little bit more, and bring it back. But again, this is all creative stuff but that would just.
Well, if I bring it back into, I could bring it back into like up to 75% energy instead of 100%, and then go into the like true breakdown. I think that would be, that's.
And you could always do the 80% bass on the first drop, 100% bass on the second drop trick. That's kind of old school stuff, but like that's how you get people to really fucking shit their pants when they're accustomed to a level of bass, and then you just bring in like the full power of the dark side of the fort. Anyway.
No, you're flexing. Anyway, well, thank you, Dino. I definitely love those ideas. I'm gonna have to experiment and flex with those.
But the only real gripe, the harshness isn't a real gripe. I feel like the phrasing on the energy of the phrasing is kind of like, but again, this is not something. Someone in chat said it best. Where was it? A lot of people care way less than you think. Like, you know,
True.
no one is gonna complain about the track that you just played for us if it was to be played like during like a Hokey Boy set or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it would just slot right in.
I see what you mean.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down, Hokey Boy. Anyway.
Well, cool. Yeah. All right. Well, on to the next banger of the evening. We've got Come On Tonight. Okie dokers. Wait, are the questions in chat? Hang on, let me get those.
Wait, do we have questions? I hope we have questions.
I'm sure we probably do. I'm slow to the draw, you know. Found them. All right. Sorry, this just helps, I think, everyone involved. Not just me and you, but I think it's cool that the chat gets to understand. All right. Here we go.
Let's go!
Shut the Let's go!
You want to kick us off, Mag, dude? I feel like I just did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
It's your turn to talk for a little bit.
So only because he said this. This is dangerous wordage going on here.
What did he say? What are we?
He said, I'm fairly happy with it, just would like another opinion.
You don't want our opinion.
Yeah, that's some real shit right there. Okay, so like, it's not bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now. It's not bad. All right, I love color-based stuff, so it's not bad.
It's not great either, though.
Yeah, let's go over the questions first. Is the intro too empty? And if so, how should I fix that? So the first thing that I would do if I was you is remove the vocals entirely. Just delete. And I don't know if that's going to make you upset or not, but that is just, my thought.
May I interject real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I believe
Go
the
for it.
reason Magdude is saying this is because the intro is not too empty. It is, in fact, too full. But go ahead.
Yes. So like, here's the thing. Like, I think that you're using the vocals wrong, which, I mean, I guess there's no right way to do anything, right? But when it comes to the usage of your vocals here, you're relying on them to do a lot of heavy lifting that you could be doing in other ways. I think that the biggest thing, especially with intros like these where you're starting off really subtle, the saturation or distortion that you have on this main synth, here, I'll play it. Get rid of it. That synth would sound so much better if there wasn't saturation right now. It sounds all like crispy and like not in a good way. Sounds kind of like it's broken.
Maybe for a break later on, you can have it distorted, but not in the intro.
Well, like, I think like the idea
Or maybe
is
just
great.
not ever.
Well, like, yeah, I don't think that ever sounds good personally, but here's the thing. The idea is perfect, dude. You nailed it as far as the arrangement goes and the timbre. Just automate that in, because here's the thing. By the second section, maybe around here, maybe like second section. Right by here, right at this point, it's fine, okay? So my ideology is sort of automate that in. You can have it eventually be crispy, but as you know, it's too obvious in these first kind of like 3 sections here. So that's my first recommendation for your intro. The other thing is there's nothing wrong with minimal energy, minimal ideas. So like, I don't think anything can really be too empty. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think that anything can really ever be too empty from an arrangement perspective. Now, from a frequency perspective, that's absolutely possible. But in an intro, the idea is to go from, you know, not a whole lot of stuff to almost everything, but not quite, you know? And maybe even then you could maybe even go like, you know, halfway to everything and then give people everything on the drop. So like, that's kind of my ideology with intros. So I think that you have a great idea here. I think that the vocal just isn't supporting it. You know, the vocal feels, and again, this is maybe a personal preference, okay, from an arrangement perspective, but I really do like vocals. So I'm going to recommend to you to avoid the repetitiveness of it, avoid that, and try and, if you're going to use vocals, make sure that you're telling like a story, you know, in one way or another. So if you're going to use the vocal in the way that you're using it now, I would heavily reduce the amount of usages of it. Instead of repeating it so much, just have maybe one moment of it right before the drop. That could work. But what I would recommend, that is not what I would do. What I would do is find a better phrase, find a longer kind of like story-driven thing. Maybe even sing it yourself. That could be a thing, you know, kind of like come up with some spicy ideas. And then maybe even pay someone to sing it even better if you don't feel comfortable in your singing. These are all just ideas if you want to use vocals. But the reality is you don't need to use vocals. The vocals don't even need to be there, like Dinah was saying. I think you could get away with everything else but the vocals, and just focus more on, you know, sweeps, reverse reverbs, you know, things like that. So, yeah, those are my initial thoughts. Yeah, any ways that you could improve the buildup so they aren't bland. I think that it's okay to have a quote unquote bland buildup, but reference other materials, you know, Virtual Riot, or, you know, who else does color bass? NASCO, you know, pick anyone that makes colory stuff. There's so many people that do that. I'm sure you know lots of them. So look at their music and see what they're doing in their intros. And a lot of it is like really subtle layering. I think that Skybreak has a wonderful video on YouTube where he goes into his whole entire ideology around atmospheres. So if you look up Skybreak and atmospheres and type that into YouTube, I'm sure you'll find exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, that would, I think, help you out a lot for these intros, because a lot of the intros is about building this atmosphere and then slowly taking away frequencies and then giving it all back. So thoughts on the sound design? I think that it's not bad. It's timbrally too similar though. I think that you're nailing what you have. Like the sound design, what you have does sound good, but I think that you could get a little bit more complex with the call and response timbres. You know, it sounds like you're using a lot of resonators, which is fine. Resonators are cool, but I would venture further into the, you know, other side of color bass, whether that be convolution reverb or some of the pitch correction stuff, or, you know, spectral stuff, you know, spectral gate, digitalis, spectral clipping, you know, venture into like that stuff more, because resonators are only one small little piece of the pie.
Bit reducing could go hard here too.
Yeah, bit reduction, anything other than just the resonator vibe. Now, I'm assuming you're doing like resonators into other stuff, but the thing is like the whole timbre throughout the whole song is like mostly resonator, where I think you could explore some more, you know, wacky things other than the resonators. But yeah, another thing, last thing, mud pie sound design. Definitely the way to go when it comes to color bass. A lot of my color basses, and I'll just like show you an example really quick. The color bass, you know, mud pie it. Don't be stuck with, you know, the synthesizers, because you'll never be able to make as cool of a song, because you know, with the way color-based processing is, you're gonna be wrecking your CPU before you even get to the next sound.
Imagine how many more instances of vocoder you could open or vocodex you could open if you were putting it through a fresh project.
Dino's fucking massive brained, and you know what? With that, Dino, take it away. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
All right, I'm gonna address question 1. Magda, I sent you a video. You go ahead and just play it muted. It's 25 seconds.
Okay, this is fire. this is fire, bro.
That's your intro, in my opinion.
I'm saving
my
this
opinion.
one. I'm saving this one.
Yeah, I think. How do you do those mud pies? Oh, how do you do a mud pie? You just save the output of your synthesizer. You set the way I do it. I think Maggo's process is a little similar. Is you just put some random LFOs on some parameters and you just let it run and you record it as a resample. Or if you're in FL Studio, as Edison. If you're in Logic, get Ableton or FL Studio. And then and then you just run it over and over again. Yeah.
He spit the facts. You just gotta record the audio, bounce it to audio, bro. Stop being stuck in the synthesizer world.
Right. And then so what you can do then is you can do one pass. I recommend like 2 to 3 minutes. Like, and you need an amount of time to scrub through, right? And then what you do is you then go on YouTube and you look up Magdu's fractal technique and you watch the video on that and you tweak the parameters in a way that he recommends. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. And then you could use like one as a carrier signal and the other one as a modulator signal in your vocoder, and you can really get fucking some really weird textures that way. And then you can like granulize it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have to agree with Magdu. I don't think that going full fat distortion into that ARP is the right idea. In fact, if it were me, I would start that full fat distortion, and then I would slowly colorize it, like introduce the wetness on your color processing on that ARP in the intro, if it were me. So I would start with no distortion, slowly distort it, and then as it's distorting, colorize it so that like you're introducing the fact that this is a color-based track. Because I had no idea it was a color-based track. There was no kind of, and this is getting into question 2, how you can improve the build-up. There was no indication that it was going to get color. And like Magda said, like it's not a bad track, but it's not like a... And I'm not a fan of 100%. Like if you have a track and like 5 to 10% of the elements are color, cool. Excellent use of spectral effects. Excellent use of... But to have it just be all color all the time is just not my vibe. So I might not be the best to give advice on this. I thought the sound design was really dope. But like Magda said, mud pie it. Increase your sonic palette a little. You know, give yourself more options to work with. And
timbral depth even.
Yeah. And you would like another opinion. Drinking coffee earlier than 90 minutes from when you wake up is actually what causes a caffeine crash later on in the day. It doesn't allow the adenosine to get blocked properly.
Well, thank you for that, Dino.
There's your opinion.
We're wiser. Yeah.
Also, the Earth is flat, and you can't tell me otherwise.
The Earth is flat. Don't fall off. All right. If you don't fall
Has anyone ever really been to the edge? I don't think so.
Wait, then wouldn't it not be flat? Wait a second. No, you're supposed to have an edge.
I said what I said, and you can't make me change my mind. All right,
flat earther. Go back to your convention. This is a music Discord.
You see this? You see this pen? You see this pen?
Now make it disappear.
If I put it down on the ground right here, it doesn't do none of this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
See this bottle? Not flat. The ground, flat. Can't tell me otherwise.
I mean, he's got us convinced. But yeah, those are our thoughts, my guy.
The coffee thing's real.
Yeah. As far as like
actual
sound design stuff, I don't know if you're in Ableton, but I've got a lot of racks that help with color-based sound design. A lot of the color-based stuff that I do, I'm kind of gatekeeping a little bit because I'm trying to survive. But if you ever want to do one-on-one stuff, I can always teach people things. It's just not free, but it's also not expensive. 25 an hour is pretty chill. So yeah, those are just the realities. Thank you.
If you're a fast learner and you come with questions, you can get a lot of value in that hour.
These are true statements. Thank you. Thank you so much for your track. Oh snap! This is the other guy. Okay. I see what you're picking up what you're putting down. Oh wait, is this the only question? Hang on. There we go. Oh, the third question isn't there yet. The third question is like
it got shagwared.
All right. Well, we'll come back to it. Maybe in a minute it'll be there. Refresh. I did refresh. I promise. I swear. I'm not lying. There isn't one. There.
When's this track from? When did he put it?
7 days ago.
7 days. So you've been working on this longer than I have. You gate kept this remix for me. I sent it to a lot of the homies. I sent it to 12 different homies.
How is y'all's week? Pretty good. It was better until I found out you only had 2 questions though. Or until that was basically I'm fucking with you. All right, let's hear this track. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that was nice.
you want to flex first, Dino?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So whereas I had a problem with the bass being too low, it appears that you just had a problem with the bass and decided that you weren't going to do it for this track. Something to consider. I feel like there's a lot of low end in the beginning of the track. Not real low end, but too much low end for an intro, and then there's less low end later. That doesn't necessarily make sense to me. But if you haven't really been working on it, then you haven't really been working on it. Let's see. How is the synths blend in a texture and timbre way, especially with the strings? I thought it was all very cohesive. If I'm gonna keep it a straight up buck, I thought it was very cohesive. And then are the perks having some feeling to them, or are they dead inside? I actually really enjoyed the perks. I felt like there was some weird panning going on with them, but I can't say for sure because I looked at the spectrum when it was happening and it seemed kind of centered. If I can just get like a middle part of the track mag to it. Yeah, I'm I don't know. There's some weird stereo stuff going on, but not weird in a bad way. Weird in a good way. And that gives life to your percussion. I think if you were trying to have like an active, fun, and playful percussion line, I think you accomplished that. And then as for the third question, I don't know. I don't have any opinion or comment on the third question. And then I'm gonna let. Oh, you haven't designed the main bass for the drop. Yeah, you kind of got me. I'm gonna not to toot my own horn too much, but I've heard some of the other remixes of this track, and yours has me a little concerned.
Holy shit. Dude, this man threw some serious shade just now. Oh my god.
I mean, you already knew that yours had me concerned, but you need to actually work on it and have.
I'll bet you even pissed off his cat too, not just him. But yeah,
I've heard. I don't even have a cat.
No, not your cat. Jess' cat.
His remix has me concerned. It is, after all, a competition with I think only 5 to 10 winners, so we could all win in theory.
Yeah. This is a communist chat all of a sudden.
How did you get in the group chat? I've been trying to figure out how to get in that fucking group chat for a minute, bro. It's crazy. This is crazy.
I guess, he's just, flexing harder than you, like you've got the better track in your own eyes or ears, but
I think once he gets that bass down, he's going to have a way better track. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's concerning me.
All right, wait, does that mean I get to go?
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, yeah. So I feel like, here is my opinion. First of all, let me answer your questions, and then I'll take the third empty question as like a, flex on whatever I'm thinking question. How is the synths blend? Okay, how are the synths blending in a texture and timbre? I don't understand how that reads. How is the synths blend in a texture and timbre way, especially with the strings? That was some very difficult to read English, but
I believe the question is, how do the synths and the strings blend?
That's what it is.
In context to the texture and the timbre.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like too literal. So here is my opinion. The strings felt a little loud, and I don't know. I think that the synths were fine, but they could be louder. I think that they could be like a little bit louder. Like, so on top of that, the strings, I think the reason why the strings felt so loud and like in an unfortunately like an annoying way is you play the same arrangement, set of notes, whatever you want to say, the whole time. I think one thing that would like just make the strings like infinitely more spicy is you've got like the first set of notes doing the, just single note kind of thing. But then you start adding notes on top of that each time you repeat it. You start creating these chordal structures with the strings. I think that would sound, chef's kiss type energy. You know what I'm saying? I think that is like my biggest gripe with the way the strings are interacting with everything else. But I also, I felt they were a little bit too loud. Not like super loud, maybe turn them down a dB or two, turn everything else up a dB or two. Those are my thoughts when it comes to that. Are perks having some feeling to them, or are they dead inside? Some feeling to them, or are they dead inside? I think that they have too much feeling. It's like they're I don't know. It's like they like did a line of coke or something before they started playing. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like the fact that I'm sure you're like, shut this guy up. He always talks about this, but it's just the way I feel about it. The way it is panning feels awkward, specifically on the hi-hats.
It's strange.
Yeah, the hi-hat panning just doesn't feel good. Everything else was okay though. The kind of here and there sort of things were all right, but just the constant like kind of like just going around. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel great. It feels awkward. I don't know what you want to do with that information. You could tell me to go pound sand. You could tell me, maybe he's got something to say here. You could also say, like, I really like it the way that it is. Fuck you, bro. I don't know. All of those options, and there are probably some other hidden options that are fine too. Those are just my opinions on it. I feel like the way it circles around my head doesn't make me excited.
Not to interrupt. I don't think the issue for me with the panning was necessarily as much the hi-hats panning. I think it was the effect of the hi-hats on the other percussion. That it was, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I actually really thought everything else was fine, and maybe it's just because I was so focused on the hi-hats now that I'm thinking about it, but I really didn't mind any of the other panning on the percussion. I really just felt the hi-hats are like so forward in the mix that they can't be doing that, Like, as soon as you have an element that's like a main element, we'll call it, I cannot stand the panning aggressively. Especially when it's moving, it starts to just bother me. I get super fixated on it and I can't focus on anything else. And I'm just like, this isn't immersion. I think the goal here is to become immersed by the vibe, and it pulls me out of the immersion. That's the problem I think I have with it. It would be different if it was more spacious, less forward in the mix, kind of like very subtle and coming in and out of like the forward kind of like area of all of the instruments. But because it's like constantly forward and doing this, it's just like, it's kind of like, I don't know, unnatural. Like, I don't know of any situation where that would exist. And maybe that's the whole point of it, and maybe that's why I don't get it. But I am a big fan of like making unnatural things feel natural to the listener. That's like my favorite thing about electronic music in general, is this ideology of like creating sounds that are fucking computer noises, but then like making them feel natural. And I think that includes arranging drums, how drums work, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think in the context of this song, the hat especially, definitely the hat. Everything else was fine. The little perks here and there that were panned, I really didn't mind those. But the hat, just like, because it's such a forward element, it feels awkward. And you can take that and run with it in whatever way you want. You can, tell me to go fuck myself, like I said, dude. Like, everything else was fine. But that for me is just like instantly I hyperfixate on it, and then I can't focus on anything else in the song because it's like distracting me, which is, I think, not good, considering you have a lot of room to create like a very atmospheric, like at the beginning of the song, I was getting this like almost pirate, like ghost pirate energy. I know it's kind of weird, like almost like Pirates of the Caribbean type shit, which is sick. And then like the hi-hat kind of pulls me out of that vibe. Like, it's hard to really immerse myself in the song at that point. Anyway, I've beaten that dead horse way too much. You get the idea. I think that the mix down for an intro feels a little full. I think that if this is planned on being an intro section, I think it's a little bit full for that. Especially in the beginning area, like Dino was saying, just a little bit too much low mid, low energy. I think you could EQ a little bit of that out and then add it in as you get further into the drop or intro, etc. And then, yeah, dude, the biggest thing, those violins, man, just stack some chords on those, fill them out, make them grow, make them, over time change in whatever way you want, right? My recommendation is to add chordal structures, start adding harmonics to them with, playing, if it's one sample, right? If you're using a sample, start duplicating that sample, pitch it up 5 semitones, 7 semitones, stuff like that. Start building chords with the notes. And if it's not that, if you're using a synthesizer with MIDI, that's even better. I say synthesizer, you know what I mean, sampler. Then, go deeper with that. I would say expand upon that MIDI, because that is the biggest thing for me that was boring me with the arrangement, because everything else was really cool and interesting. So yeah, just the violin and the hi-hats, and I think that's really the only two things I wasn't a big fan of. Everything else was really cool. I think you definitely nail a lot of the atmospheric stuff too. So I feel like you should keep like, I don't know. I think Dino, honestly, you and him should just talk a ton, because Dino is like so good at that. And I feel like you are on that roadway. Like, you're literally there. It's just the percussion or panning thing. Dino, like, I'm just saying, Dino flexes. He keeps it like just enough, you know? You have a skill that I don't have, because I'm not as good at the atmospheric stuff, at least in comparison to Dino here. But yeah, he definitely knows things that are really good for this. So I would.
You're too kind. You're too modest. You're too humble.
It's just the way it is, man. But anyway, thank you, Jest. It was still a really cool idea. I hope you keep working on this. I want to see it grow. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you. Thank you again for submitting.
Are we ready for the secret track?
Yes, the secret hidden last track. Under the Lens. What is this? Is he getting LASIK or something? Is that?
I really hope it's not more rhythm. I really hope it's not more tear out.
All right, fingers crossed. No tear out, no rhythm.
It probably is, judging by that picture.
Let's here we go. This is what happens when you enter the mosh pit.
Nice track, bro.
It was kind of rhythm, but not really. Yeah, I think future rhythm is just nailed it. As far as what it might be.
Go ahead, Mag, do it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, ideas for the second drop. I feel like you should focus on ideas for the first drop. Still, I'm sorry. I feel like the dynamicness of this is not enough timbrally. You know, I think by this section you've kind of overused the timbre from this section, so I think it's worth kind of developing a slightly new, interesting timbre by this section. But if I had to say ideas for the second drop, maybe slow it down, you know, speed it up, that kind of stuff. Maybe drum and bass it, you know. That's something that I really enjoy, is like that halftime. Like, this is more halftime, so maybe speed it up. And if it's too sped up, then slow it down. I really like doing that kind of stuff. Makes it work really nice. Is intro too short? If so, ideas for smoother transition into the drop. I think the intro isn't like too short. I think that's kind of definitely a vibe for future rhythm. I just think that I just feel like there's like slightly weird panning stuff happening. I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's not just me. I'm watching it down here. I don't think that is good on everything, especially the main bass. I think that you should, if you're going to do stuff like that, don't do it to like everything, or, you know, most things. Yeah, that's like the biggest thing. Gosh, it's the second song in a row where I'm going to hate on panning, but yeah, it's a no-go for me. I'm like, what's his name? I'm like Simon. No, it's a no from me.
That's Randy.
Randy.
It's a no for me, Doug.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah.
bad. Anyway, you get the idea. It's just not vibing with me. As far as ideas for a smoother transition into the drop, less frequencies, even less than you have. I know you definitely are doing okay. There's like less than the drop, but I think you could be a little bit more reserved, you know, especially in the low end. We don't have to give them sub too much, okay? And if we are going to give them sub, you know, make it like the most microscopic, just a hint, a whiff of sub, okay? That's all you really want, especially for short intros, because we're not really like giving the opportunity to like let it drop back down before we hit the drop. We're kind of just going straight into the drop. So you really want to make sure that you're essentially doing a whole lot of cutting away of frequencies before you get to that drop. Opinions on the vocals in the drop. They're great. I think they're cool, but the problem with them is that they're buried by everything else. So what I would recommend doing is, if you're going to put vocals like this in a song, unmask it from everything else. So either use Soothe, pure unmask, dynamic EQ, dynamic compression, side chaining rather, dynamic compression, side chaining, dynamic EQ, side chaining, that kind of stuff. Maybe multi-band compression as well, by the way, not just regular compression. Just make sure those vocals are like more forward, because you really want like vocals like that to feel really, really forward in the mix. A good reference for that is people like Zim. I don't know if you know who Zim is. He's a great reference for this kind of stuff. Obviously, Sharks, you know, all of those hooligans. What else? Is it Secret Sky? I mean, there's so many producers who make color bass that have vocals in there. I'm sure you can find some. Kiro. Yeah, definitely reference, and you'll see their vocals are always super forward in the mix. Those are my thoughts. I thought it was a really cool idea, though. It just is feeling sort of like it needs more depth. So yeah, reference the bangers, reference the G's in the scene, and you will grow. Anyway, those are my thoughts, Dino. What do you have to say?
Ideas for second drop. I think Maggie kind of hit that on the head pretty good. Fuck with timing, fuck with note progression, fuck with sound design. Just change one or two of those three things, and then like kind of, you know, like don't necessarily change them all at once. You want to kind of keep it reminiscent of the existing stuff already. And you know, I hate to mention it, but there is a video on YouTube by our good friend Mr. Magduit called the Fractal Technique, which applies to phrasing and arrangement as well, not just sound design. Where you partially change something. I mean, like, you could change the melodic content and maintain the sound design. I think that's kind of weak. You should definitely, like, if anything, you should change the sound design and keep the melodic content. But the best thing to do would be to rearrange the melodic content or rearrange the rhythm and the sound. There's a few different things. Change a few of them. Keep some of them. Right? You're a smart guy. I've listened to your music. You know how to do it. Or a smart person. Sorry for assuming your gender. Zerlodian. Anyway. Is the intro too short? If so, no, intro was fine aside from the phasing and the panning stuff that Magdo was talking about. It was a right amount of intro for a 1 minute and 25 second brain rot track.
I guess rhythm really does kind of fall into that category, unfortunately.
It lends itself to doom scrolling so well, dude. You could even cut the intro in half too, and just have it be like the okay, get ready to dance fucking part of the TikTok. You know what I'm talking about?
And then just right into it, just right into the drop. Yeah,
right into it.
Facts.
Get dressed with me today. Opinions on vocals in drop. Is there even fucking vocals in the drop? Can I hear drop 2 real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
They're hidden, but they're there.
There is. Why are they not louder than everything else? Why are they not in the front of everything else? I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to pick and choose if you want the vocals there. They either need to be an ambient background element or they need to be front and center. But you can't have your cake and eat it too with that. Also, an idea you could do. Give me a little bit of drop 1 versus drop 2, please. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Get rid of the lead and just have the vocals in the second drop. And there's your first drop versus second drop differential. Just get rid of the lead. Delete the lead. And then you can do like some vocal processing. Something I like to do is
Delete the vocal. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm trying my hardest to not be like, just start a new track that's not rhythm.
No, the vocals actually, I love the vocal. That's why. But I feel like in your music, you
No.
you stray from them.
Who, me? Or
Unless
Lodian?
it's Joe Rogan saying something clever.
No, I like vocalization. I don't like lyrics. I don't like to be told how to feel in a track. I like to have the track allow me to create my own conclusions on feeling and that kind of stuff. I don't like to be told what to feel. You know, I like the emotion to be representative through the melodic content of it. Anyway, that's aside from the point. So you're gonna have your dry vocal right in the middle, right? And then what you're gonna do is just side information. You can do +1, -1 on either side, or you can do +7 or -5 on both sides, or you can do +5 and +7 and -5 on both sides at different widths. That way you can, but again, you're still gonna have a dry right in the middle, and this is gonna create like a really eerie chorusing effect, like really fucking super eerie chorusing effect. And then, even though it doesn't like it's not the same genre, it is still future bass. To reference how vocals can fit inside of a bass music track that is like this more melodic, mellow, chill stuff, there is the Alina Baraz and Gala Matthias album, Urban Flora. Just listen to how he uses the vocals in that track, and that should give you some pretty good ideas as to how you can use the vocals in your track as well. But yeah, I think is that all 3 questions?
That is
all
it.
3 questions.
I believe so.
Also, thank you for not submitting Tara out again. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I think the idea like is so on point. It's just the execution could go deeper, but I
For
really
sure.
like the energy and the idea. The vocals. The vocals are actually one of my favorite parts. I think it works so well with this. You just have to essentially like make them like they're it, man. Vocals are awesome. Make them feel awesome by putting them in the front of everything else, man. That's like the way to go. Everybody does that. And it feels amazing. But, otherwise don't put the vocals in there. But I think the vocals are actually pretty cool. So, yeah. I think that's it. I guess we want to end it with Come Through Thursdays and Sundays, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Flock Flips. Yeah, come through next Friday, 8:30 is the time that submissions open. So if you missed this week, you can always check it out next week at the same time. And Dino, do you have anything you want to say before we head out here?
Yeah. Flock Flips. Did you just mention that? Thursdays and Sundays?
Yeah.
9 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Magdio does one-on-one lessons. For how many dollars an hour? Hold on.
$25, bro.
Give me a
25.
second.
This man might have $25. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I only had hundreds the last time we did that joke.
Oh yeah. Hey, that's 4 hours, bro. That's
It's a lot of time.
that is a vibe.
It's a lot of coffee. So are we doing the FM faceplant workshop, or do we only have 3 viewers and it's also 11 o'clock at night where you're at?
Oh, really? Oh, I mean, my plan was to go in there, and if no one comes in, that's fine. I'm going to be in there for maybe like 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to do some FM faceplant sound design, and then I'll go to sleep.
So if you guys are interested in seeing what an hour with Mag Do It might look like,
yeah, we're about to fucking make some banging basses right now, okay? Some
Yeah.
absolutely nutty sounds. So
first one's free, not really, but kind of.
yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in there.
Wait,
Oh.
I have my own shelling to do.
Oh, yes.
Large Father is kicking off the YouTube channel. I have started, and Drew actually kind of really helped me realize this. I am now live streaming my production sessions for certain tracks, not for all tracks. Like Magda said, some things must be gate kept. I gatekeep for other reasons. Yeah, slide through the Large Father YouTube channel. You can find that associated with my Discord profile.
Yeah, and man's been flexing, dude. Your standalone
Dude.
no computer like flexing has gone.
I do the no computer stuff. I do the computer stuff. I do a little bit of the no computer and computer stuff.
Yes. Well, I think all of it's amazing, but yeah, definitely the no computer stuff has inspired me to want to fuck around with that more. But yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
you have just as much no computer stuff possibility and capability as I do. There's no.
You do have the synthesizer. I guess I have the OP1. I guess I could
You
always.
have a fucking OP1. They're
Yeah.
made for each other.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Fine.
Anyway, all right. We'll see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And if you miss your submission opportunity, the submissions happen when, Mr. Mag, do it?
8:30 Eastern Standard.
Eastern time. All right. Thank you very much, folks. You have a great night. God bless. And
We're
I
out.
guess I can't get political. Bye.
Yeah. All right.